Hello everyone, this is Wonders Graphics tutorial for beginners. In this tutorial, we are going to look at how to remove the background of an image. In Photoshop, there are a lot of ways you can remove the background of an image, but in this tutorial, we look at two ways which are easier and faster and will help you remove the background of an image very fast. So without much further ado, let's dive in. Okay guys, so in Photoshop, the fastest way to remove the background of an image is use the select subject feature. This feature was introduced back in 2018 and has been in 2019, 2020 and 2021 versions of Photoshop. So in this feature, Photoshop automatically selects your subject for you using what? Adobe Sensei AI. So to use this method, you go to select and then come down to what? Subject. And then the AI will work its way out and then automatically select your subject for you. Okay, so now you can see a selection has been made around my image, but you can see the selection is not perfect. Okay, and Photoshop tried the auto select try to do the selection. It's not bad for one click, just a single click, and then you have a selection. It's not really bad. You can go on and fine tune the edges, take time, and then hide some pixels, remove some pixels. Okay, so this feature normally works when you have background, and then the image is not. The image and the background has a little difference in color. Okay, so in this tutorial, we're not going to use this feature. Okay, so let me just deselect what the AI did. So in this video, we're going to use the color range feature, and then we will combine the pen to remove this background very nicely. So we are using the color range feature. The color range feature works when you have the color of your background. The color in your background is a bit different from the color in the subject, because this feature uses colors. You're going to select the image or cut out based on colors and tones. So always this feature works very well when you have different color of subject compared to the background. So when we look at this image, you can see we have a blue sky over here. We have a blue sky over here, and then looking at the image, we don't have blue. Okay, we don't have blue in the image. So we can use the color range feature to select the background and then cut it out. And then when we come down here, we are not going to use the color range feature here because the background down here, we have this is a yellow tone, right? We have a yellow tone here, and then we have yellow tones which are also found in the dress. So if you try to use the color range feature down here, it's going to be hard. Okay, so we use the color range feature up here, and then we will use the pen tool down here, combine these two methods to cut out this background. Okay, so we are going to move from here to here. Okay, so to begin, we will first unlock our background, and then let's rename it background BG. Okay, and then let's duplicate this background so that whatever we do, if we want to go back, we can go back. Okay, so then we will go to select and then head to color range. This is the feature we are going to use. Okay, and then it brings out this window. So now this window, let me explain a little bit about this window. This is where you the type of colors you want to sample, what you want to select. You can select red, you can select yellows. So when I select yellows, it picks out all the yellows. Okay, if I select blue, the AI is going to select all the blue colors in the image, leaving the other colors out, and then that's how it works. Okay, so always it's good to set it to sample colors, then you pick your own colors, because if you pick maybe blue and the image is not really blue, you are going to find it difficult to select all the blues. Okay, so set it to sample colors and then come here. Sometimes it's good to set here to a bigger brush size. Okay, sometimes if you realize the colors in the background are not that, let's say you have a blue, you want to select all blues, and the blue we have a bit of greens inside. So it's good to increase the size of the brushes so that it takes the average color present in that area, and then doesn't sample a color, and that doesn't sample a point. That is only a pixel. Okay, so in this video we are just going to sample point, because looking at our background, I think the blue here is a bit, it's blue. Okay, we don't have much green over here, so we are just going to set it to sample point, and then we have detect face. You can select this. It's going to select out the face, and then it will max the face, select the face automatically for you. I don't really need this right now. Then we have localize color clusters. This makes sure that if you take this, it's going to spread out in such a way that if I select blues, not only blues around this place will be selected. It is going to select it is going to select other blues which are here. Okay, that is what this feature means. So always select it. And then you have what? Fuzziness. The fuzziness is basically how the colors would spread. Okay, so if I select blue here, if I increase the fuzziness, it's going to what? Spread out and then add other blue tones to what the selection. Okay, so this one, after doing the selection, you can change this later. Then you have what? The range. The range, I choose what the eyedropper tool is going to what? Locate the colors and select them. So first of all, when you come, just what? Select this. This is the eyedropper tool. This is what we're going to use to do our selection. And then come down here, set this should be what? On selection, so that you see what? And the preview. And then come down here, set this to what? Grayscale. There is the preview. Okay, you can set it to quick marks so that you have what? Red, and then the part which is selected will not be red. Okay, so in this way, the part which is selected will not be red. So if you see the part which is not red, it has been selected. The red parts have not been selected. And then when you check grayscale, the part which is selected will always be white. Okay, cool. So we pick the eyedropper tool, come here and start with sampling. Let me revert this. I think. Let me just revert everything. Okay, so sometimes when you come, this is how your image will look. Okay, this is how your image will look sometimes. So you start with sampling what? These colors. You start selecting. So I'll first sample this the color over here because I'm trying to select what? The blues. I'm trying to select all the blues. So I'll go over here, click on what? The blues, and then make sure all the blues are selected. When all the blues are selected, this place will turn what? White. Okay, the blues will turn white. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do was to select the image. But looking at the image has what? Different what? Colors. So if I try to sample the image, it will be hard. I have black, I have what? Hair, skin color, I have hair dress color. But the blue here is what? Uniform. So I can select this blue, cut this blue out, and then the other colors will be remain, and then I'll what? Use other method. Okay, cool. So let's continue. So we start with sampling. You see, I've sampled what? A blue color. Then now, if I click here again, it will sample this side and leave this side. You understand? So what I'm going to do is that I've sampled this side. I'm going to change what? The eyedropper tool and what? Pick what? A different one. This one is used to what? Add sample. Add sample. Okay, so I'll pick this one and then select what? Other what? Shades of blue. So now if I click here, it's not going to what? Sample only this side. It's going to add to what? The selection. I hope you understand. Cool. So I'll keep on what? Clicking around, selecting all the blues. Okay, whatever I click and then it becomes white, it means it has been selected. Okay, cool. So I'll go around selecting all this. You can see the wires. These are what? Wires of what? Electrical wires. Yeah. I'm not going to select them because they are not blue. If you look at the image, you can see they are not blue. Okay, you can see they are either black or gray, or if I try to select them, if I sample them, there are other hot gray colors here which are also going to be selected because color range what? Select every hot. The color you will pick, it will select all other those colors in the image everywhere. Okay, so I'm not going to sample this what? These electrical lines. Neither am I going to sample these ones and then these ones. You see there are some here too. And then this green leaves here, I'm not going to sample them because I have greens in her dress. If I sample this and select this, it's going to pick out what? These greens too out. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so let me set this back. So I'm only focused on what? The sky, the blue part. I'm only focusing, come down to this side a bit. Only focus on the blue part. Okay, you can see it has what? Done match a very fine selection of what? Here, let me zoom in. To zoom in, press Ctrl plus Alt. And then if you are using a mouse, it's good to use mouse. Or if you have what? Laptop. If you don't have graphics tablet, use mouse. It will help you a lot. And then use your scroll wheel to scroll in. So you can see her hair has been what? Selected very nicely. And then the sky has been selected very nicely. Sometimes when you're doing this, you may click. You can see this side has been selected. This side, I think it's part of what the image. It will affect her hand. Her hands will be cut out if I take this selection away. Okay, so I have to what? Take this out. To take this out, change the eyedropper tool to what? The minus sign. Okay, you can always press what? Shift to toggle between what? The signs. To toggle between the signs. You can see it's now plus. If I remove my hands, it turns to what? Minus. So you can use shift to toggle between what? The type of eyedropper tool you want to use. So I pick the minus and then I'll subtract from what? This selection. I don't want these places to be what? Selected. Okay, cool. So I think every part of my image is what? Nicely selected. Always, if these parts, let me show you. If some of these parts, no, not this. If you want to go back, just press Ctrl plus what? Z to go back. If I accidentally select part of the image, which is, let's see, in the middle, which is a bit in the middle, and it's not on the outline. Don't care much. Okay, don't care much about the middle of what? The image, because you can always paint that part out. Always focus on what? The outline. So whenever you're doing a selection, focus on the outline. That's the most important part, not the middle. The middle one, you can always fill it later. Okay, so let me step back. I don't want to do this. So now my selection is okay. So then I go to okay. Okay, so now you can see a selection of what has been made up here. We can just go ahead and and then delete it. Press delete on the keyboard. Let me hide this layer. And then you can see that part is gone. But you deleting pixels like this is really bad, because sometimes you may want to get some parts back. Let's say you zoom in and you find out that some of the edges of the subject has been cut out, and you want to bring hair back. It will be difficult. So always use the mask layer, the layer mask layer. So I'm going to step back, Control plus Z. I've stepped back. Okay, now it's back. So you're going to use layer mask. I haven't done a video on layer mask. I'll do a video on layer mask very soon. This is just an introduction. Okay, so come down here and you find this small icon. Here's what we call layer mask. So you're going to mask this layer so that you hide this layer. Layer mask simply is used to hide pixels. It's used to hide pixels, so that if you need it back, you can get it back. Okay, so I'm going to mask this out. So I want the background to I want the subject to remain, and then the background to go off. So I'm going to press Alt on the keyboard and then click on the mask icon. Cool. You can see this part is out, right? Whenever you see boxes, it means transparency. So look at this is what we call the layer mask. You can see it is attached to the layer, and then you can see the part which is always black is hidden. Whenever you see layer mask, black means hidden, white means showing. So the part which is showing is the white. Now we have hair, and then we have this side. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's zoom in and see how the selection was done. You can see the selection was done really nice. It did a really good job. Okay, you can see there are not much fuzziness anywhere. Her hair was really selected very nicely. Okay, that is good. So now the next step we are going to do is we are going to use the pen tool to select down here. So if you don't know how to use the pen tool, I have a video which I showed in details how to use the pen tool to create designs, to create selections, to create shapes. So check up here and then check that video out before maybe you come to this video. Okay, so now we will grab the pen tool here, and then we are going to select the outline. It is always good to when you're going to use the pen tool, or whenever you're making selection and you realize your outline is a bit the curves are not that much, or you don't have much contrast. Contrast is the difference between black and white. So looking at this side, you can see the contrast is a bit low. So I'm going to add a little curve or levels or contrast to the image, so that I can see the outline clearly. Okay, so I'll just use an adjustment layer. I'm going to use an adjustment layer. Adjustment layers are layers which they lie on top of another layer, affect that layer. They are not layers themselves. Okay, they are adjustment to other layers, in such a way that if I don't want that layer which is beneath it to be adjusted, I just remove the adjustment layer, and then that adjustment doesn't happen to the layer anymore. That's basically adjustment layers. So instead of me to apply curve or brightness or contrast to this image, I'll add that curve or brightness or contrast as an adjustment layer on top. I hope you understand. So it's just a layer on top of it, so that if I don't need it, I just take it out. Cool. So to add adjustment layers, come down here, click the adjustment layer icon, and then we are going to add, I think curves will be okay. Yeah, so I'll add curves. So I'm going to make it a bit darker. A bit dark. Okay, and then the brighter place is bright, and then the darker place is a bit darker. Something like this. I think it's not bad. Yeah, the edges are a bit out now. I think not bad. Okay, so then I close it. So this is the adjustment layer. You can see this layer is on top of the main layer. It's affecting all these layers down here. Okay, it's an adjustment. If I don't want the levels to apply, I'll just switch it off. Then you can see it's gone. Cool. So I'll put it on top, and then grabbing my pen tool, I'll start making the selection. You zoom in by pressing Ctrl plus Alt, scroll with your mouse, or you can press Ctrl plus space, then click to zoom in. Okay, there are a lot of shortcuts you can use to zoom in. Okay, and then when you are zoomed in, you can pan around by using your scroll wheel to pan around. Okay, that's why I say it's always good to use a mouse if you are on a laptop, so that things will be easier for you. Okay, cool. So I'm going to select the outline. Okay, I'm going to cut out. Let's start. So I'll start from here. I will set this part to path. Well, I'm going to make a path. Okay, cool. So I'll start from here. You take your time and you do it very nicely. If you don't know how to use the pen tool, I said there's a video up there. Check it out. Okay, and then master how to use the pen tool to make selections. So take your time and cut out very nicely. It's always good to go in. It's always good to cut in rather than cut out. Okay, instead of cutting here, no, cut in. Okay, and then probably some of the pixels, some of hair, the subject will be cut out. That one is better than bringing the background in the subject, because it will make it it will bring halos. You get halos in the image. So I'll just be cutting out this way. You take your time and do it. Okay, if you want a fine selection, take your time and do it. Don't rush. If you realize the curves you applied, it's not working. If you realize the curves you applied is not working out, you can go here and then increase it or decrease it whenever you want. So you can just go here, increase the curves a bit. Okay, and then you continue. Whatever you are doing doesn't affect the real image. It's just an adjustment layer. It's just an adjustment. So you continue from here. You take your time and do the selection very nicely. Take your time and do the selection very nicely. Okay, cool. So you can see this is not really difficult. You just click, drag, create a curve, and then you are You are cutting the image out. Okay. So all the time, your hands should be on the keyboard. Your one of your hands should be on the keyboard, so that if anything you can press it quickly. So my left hand is on the keyboard. One of the fingers is positioned on Control, and then the other one's on Alt. Okay, and then Shift, because you use those keys a lot. We're using those keys a lot. Okay, I think you see I'm cutting in rather than cutting out of the subject. So let's move, and then take your time and just going around the selection. Okay, you can zoom out. Okay, so you just go around the image, take your time and select it. So you get it. So I'll fast forward this part. When I'm done with drawing the path around the whole image, I'll bring you back. Okay, so relax and then watch the video, enjoy the music in the background. Okay guys, so the selection, the path, I've drawn a path around. You can see I didn't go here. I could have just selected the image, the subject, but I rather selected the background. I want to cut the background out. Okay, yeah, it's always that. I think looking at the image, that one will be very helpful. That one is better than cutting selecting the subject itself. Okay, so I'm going to cut this part out. So now there's a path. I can just convert it to a selection by right-clicking and then going towards make selection. And then you have further radio. This is basically blur. If you want to blur the outline a bit, sometimes it's good to blur the outline a bit. Okay, so I'll just leave. I won't blur it that much. Let me just leave it. It's okay. Okay, so if you were taking notes, you realize that when I go to the hands, the part of the body, I always take my time because it would be nice to cut out hair, fingers, or something like that. Okay, it will look very bad if you cut out hair, fingers. So you can see the selection is very nice. Okay, it's a very fine selection I have done over here. So always take your time and do the selection. Okay, but you can, for these sides, you can go faster if you want. Cool. So now I've made a selection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to this max. I'm going to add this part to this max. So I'm not going to max it again because I already have a max here. If you max it again, it will not work. Look at it. You see, everything is gone. So step back. So what I'm going to do is that you will select the max, pick an eraser, and then erase this part. Okay, when we start to erase this part, it's going to add up to the max. Okay, so increase the size of the brush. These are just shortcuts. Okay, press Alt and then right click and then move the mouse to increase the size. All these shortcuts, essential keyboard shortcuts, I have a video which I talk about all of them, a complete introduction to Photoshop for beginners. Okay, all these shortcuts are there. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. Okay, so I'll increase my hardness to 100% and then the brush size is okay. Okay, and then I think I have my flow decrease, so let me increase the flow to 100%. Cool. So when you are painting on the layer mask, set this to white. When you are painting or you are trying to, when you are painting on the layer mask, you paint with white to conceal, to hide. Okay, you paint with white to hide because the background is black. And then if you set the foreground to black, you paint to reveal. Okay, if the foreground is white, you paint to hide. So right now you can see I'm hiding this side. Even though I'm deleting them, they are not completely gone. They are being masked here. Okay, they are being hidden here. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and delete all this. Take your time and make sure you've done everywhere. Okay, yeah. So and then deselect, Control plus D. All right, so you can see we are gradually getting there. Okay, and then this part, I didn't cut out this part, so still use the pen tool. Over here, you can't use the magic one too because I think there's some yellows here, right? If you try the magic one too, you can see that's for selected these yellows. So don't use the magic one too. Still use the pen tool to cut out this side. So you just basically go like this. It's a bit straight, so straightforward selection. Okay, so I've selected this side. I'll just make a selection. Okay, and then I'll erase it just like I did to the other side. Deselect. Okay, cool. So basically, I'm done with the selecting, removing the background. The background has been removed, right? Let me turn off the. Okay, so you can see the selection has been made. Okay, selection has been made. Okay, let me save my work. We are not done. Okay, we will add background, a nice background, and then do a little adjustments around the image. So save your work, go to File, and then go to Save. If you save it before, save as, or however you do it, and then you select your location, put it on desktop, and then let me use her name. There's a friend of mine. Okay, Bridget. Let me see, Bridget. Portraits. Yeah, it will ask you. They always use this maximum why? What did I eat this morning? Maximum compatibility. This basically means so that you'll be able to open this file in different versions of Photoshop. Yes, always use maximum compatibility. Okay, and then your work will be saved. Okay, now so we are done with the selection. We are going to change the background and then do a bit of little adjustment. So now when we zoom in, we can find out that her teeth is looking a bit yellowish. Okay, it's got too much curves on her teeth. This is due to the camera, the sunlight and then the camera coming together. Okay, so you can see her teeth is looking a bit darker. So we're going to brighten her teeth a little bit. These are minor adjustments. Okay, so let me just delete this layer, adjustment layer. I don't need it anymore. I'll just remove it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to select the teeth and then we will desaturate the teeth. We take out the color a little bit because of what? The sun, the direction of the sun and then the camera. Okay, so let's just dive in. So we will zoom in, select the teeth. Okay, it's good to select outside. Select larger size so that at the end you can use the brush or the eraser to delete the parts you don't like. So I'll just go around and do something like this. Okay, I'll select all this side. Okay, I'll change it to selection. Okay, so I'm going to copy this place and paste it. Okay, so just press look at where my selection is. I'm on the layer and not on the max. I'm on the layer. So Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. If you do Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, you may paste it outside. Sometimes you see that it will be pasted somewhere here. Okay, so to prevent this, when you copy, press Shift Ctrl V so that you paste in place. Or you can go to Edit, go to Paste Special here, paste in place so that it will paste the one you copied exactly where it was copied. Okay, cool. So now we are going to add we are going to desaturate it. So you add another adjustment layer. We are using an adjustment layer so that we can delete them later and then we can tweak it whenever we want. So click on an adjustment layer, bring out hue and saturation. Okay. So I'm going to take out some of the color and then make it a bit brighter. Cool. You can see what is happening. What I'm doing is affecting all the image, every part of the image. The reason being that this adjustment layer is on top of all these layers, so it's affecting everybody. So if you want the adjustment layer to affect only the layer which is beneath it, the first layer beneath it, you have to make the adjustment layer a clipping max. You have to make the adjustment layer a clipping max. A clipping max is basically a layer on top of another layer, which affects only the layer beneath it. Okay, whenever you use clipping max, the effect of the layer on top affects only the layer beneath it. You understand? Yeah, so it means that those two layers are linked. Basically, that's what it means. Okay, so we're going to make this a clipping max. So you can do that by you can see there's a little icon here. You can just click this icon and then it will be clipped. Or press Control Alt G on the keyboard. Control Alt G. If you are on Mac, you know what you are supposed to press. It's on the screen. So you can see the layer. This adjustment layer has been clipped to only this. Let me rename this to teeth. Here's the teeth. So the adjustment is this layer is only clipped to this, only affecting the teeth. The rest are out. So I think this is not bad. It's not bad. Let me reduce it a bit again. Okay, cool. So I'll just go ahead and max out some parts. I'll delete some parts. So on the adjustment layer, we made it white by using this adjustment layer. So on the adjustment layer, select the layer max on the adjustment. You can see every adjustment layer you make gives you a layer max in addition so that you can tweak it. Okay, so you can add some part. So we will select the adjustment layer, pick our eraser, and reduce the size. It's a very big eraser. Okay, and then I'll reduce the hardness. Okay, so I'm going to pick some parts out. These parts, I'm going to delete them. Okay, so let me zoom in, and then you carefully and pick these parts out. You hide them. You hide these parts. Take your time. So you can see it's getting better. Okay, let me reduce the size, and then let me pick these parts out to these points. Okay, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's looking good already, right? So I also continue to have to pick this side out here, right? So here you can use the pen tool to cut out if you are not comfortable with the using the eraser. You can use the pen tool to cut out. Much better way. Don't want to cut out that part. Okay, I think it's not bad. Yeah, so still it's looking white, right? Let me continue. So okay, now I'll reduce what? I'm going to reduce the opacity a bit. Okay, it's looking too white. Make it very white after I reduce what opacity so that it blends in with what the one underneath it. So reduce the fill or opacity, any of them. The difference between fill and opacity is fill is for color, opacity affects everything. Okay, so I want to reduce only the color, not what the brightness and others. So I'll just go with what opacity. I think it's not bad. Let's look at it. Yeah, it has been desaturated a little bit. Let me go a little further. I think something like this is cool. So it was like this. Now it's like this. You can see the difference. Cool. Okay, so now we have applied a little adjustment to the teeth and we have desaturated it. Let's also change the background. Now let's look at something. You can see I didn't cut some parts out, the lines and then some things I didn't cut them out. So let's introduce a background so that we will see the parts which were not selected or which were not taken out, and then we take them out. Okay, I just realized I still have my lines here. So I was supposed to do this before coming to adjust the teeth and all that, but basically it's still the same. Okay, it's never too late in Photoshop. So I'll create a new layer. Okay, and then I'll fill it with a color. So let me go to edit, fill, or you can press Shift F5 to go straight here, and then select a color. Let me take a color like something like blue, because she was already in the blue color. Let me change it to blue, something like this. Okay, good. So now I can see the parts which are not cut out, and then I'll cut them out. So I'll select my layer marks, and then zoom. You can see the lines are still there. I'll clean them with the eraser. Okay, don't go here, you erase it. So all these parts, if there's anything here, I'll just erase them. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's okay. So now let me apply a bit vibrance to the image. Vibrance is you are increasing color only to affect the parts which doesn't have color. That is how you increase vibrance. Saturation affects everywhere. Saturation affects or increases all the colors uniformly. But vibrance increases the colors which are less. The part of the image which the color is low. I hope you understand. Which doesn't have much saturation. Vibrance will bring that part out. So I'll add the vibrance adjustment layer on top here. Vibrance, and then I'll clip it towards only this as a clipping mask. Control Alt G. Okay, so let me push it to this side, and then I'll increase it. You can see I didn't put it on top of the teeth, so whatever I'm doing, it doesn't affect the teeth. Okay, good. So I think I'll do it something like this. Yeah, she's looking okay. Okay, then let me add a bit curves. Okay, let me add curves. Okay, all these are simple adjustments you make to make the image look a bit better. Okay, so reset. I'll make it a bit darker. Increase there. No, it's too much. A little. Just need small. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see before and after. Before and after. Oh, she's looking too dark. It's okay. Before and after. A little. It's just small. Okay. It's just small. Okay, so let me close it. Okay, so we are moving on. Now let me what else can I do? Let me go and reduce the vibrance a bit. I think she's looking too. The color is too much. Yeah, it's okay. Good. Okay, so these adjustments are okay. Let me work with. Let me change the background. Okay, now we're going to create a very simple gradient background. So I will use this image, this layer. Right click and go to blend options. This is where I'm going to apply my gradient. And then I'll come to it. Gradient overlay. Cool. So like it's basically here. Yeah, I have a nice. I think I did this. I set this up. So let me just reset it. Okay. Cool. So you come here. You choose the color you want over here. You can choose any color at all. You can choose any color at all. Okay, you can choose any color at all. Okay, and then you choose. I'm using two words. Linear gradient, two words, two colors. You can choose any color. Choose any color at all. Okay, then so I think I like the previous color. I'll go with that one. This color. Let me sample. No, it's sampling blue because I fill the background with blue. Okay, so let me something like cyan green. Something like this, right? Okay, it's cool. Good. And then here, let me increase the brightness a bit. Cool. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm basically making this side hot a bit lighter because looking at the image, the light was hot coming from the right hand side when the image was taken. So I'm basically trying to create something like that. Okay, so it's not bad. So now let's create shadow here. Okay, let's create a little shadow because if the light falls on her, she will drop some shadows here. Okay, let's just create something small, a little shadow here. Okay, cool. So the shadow is going to be beneath her. I'll just grab the pen tool and draw something. Let me just sketch. You don't have to spend much time on creating this shadow. So you draw something like this. Basically looking at how her frame and then drawing the shadow. I think something like this is good. It's not bad. Okay, so basically this is not a bad shadow. Oh, you can see I'm working with path. I'm still on the path, so I have to change this to what? Shape. Okay, so I can make it to over here. You're supposed to change here to shape before you do this, okay? But if you did it, you can just go up here and click shape. Cool, and then I have this shape. So what I'll do is that come on. What I'm going to do is, no, I don't like this color. It has to be white. So let me change here to shape. It has to be black, sorry, black. The shadows are not white, for God's sake. So there's a shadow. What I will do, you blur this shadow, okay? We can't leave a shadow like this. It's looking like a ghost chasing her. Okay, so let's blur this. So we are going to blur this. Go to filter. Go to blur. Gaussian blur. Okay. And then to ask you, do you want to convert this to a smart object or a raster image? If you don't know what raster images are, raster images are basically pixel based. Okay, smart objects behave like vector objects in such a way that you can always go back, and then you will not lose changes that you did. Okay, if you resize it and do a lot of changes to it, you still have it, but you can always come back, and then you can always edit the filter you apply to it. Okay, so convert to a smart object. Yeah, and then we have this blur window. Okay, then so we will play it a little. Depending on how your image is and then what you drew, you should select. Just look at the preview and then find something nice. Yeah, I think I like this. I like 355. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, and then so it's working. Okay, so I think this part didn't come. I have to stretch it, resize the shape to fill this part. Okay, so I'll go into a double click to review the actual layer. Whenever you convert to smart objects, it gives you it hides the actual layer at a different place. Okay, yeah, so that whatever we are doing here doesn't affect this layer directly. Okay, so I'm going to resize this, increase it a bit, the size, Ctrl+T, so that I'll stretch it a little to cover down there. I observed I hasn't, the down there was not what covered. So after doing this, you save Ctrl+S. If you don't save, it will not go revert at the other side. Cool. So go back to your object here. You can see this side is what it has been filled. So it's looking too dark. I will reduce the fill or opacity a bit. Okay, it's looking too black. And it's not bad. Yeah. Cool. So I think it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It looks good to me. Okay, so basically I think it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So let's recap. We use what? We use two methods. We use what, the color range and then the pen tool to do the selection. And always remember that after doing the selection, you can what, fine tune these sides, okay, by what, going to the max and then using what, the eraser. Okay, you can hide more what, much more edges or more pixels if you want of the subject. You can hide. You can reveal some using what, the eraser and what, selecting what, the max. Okay, cool. And then use the pen tool to cut out. So always look at what the type of image you have been given and look at which method will work best. If you think the pen tool will only work, just use the pen tool. I would have used the pen tool throughout, but the pen tool will be hard for me to select the hair using the pen tool. It will take much time. So the color range worked because the background was what, one color. Cool. So basically, that is how you remove the background of an image. Remember that there are other methods you can use. Okay, you can use the select and max method. You can use the magic wand to quick selection tools. You can use channels. You can use channels to make selection. Okay, I'll do a video and show you that one too. That one is also quick. That is when you have what, much contrast in your image. You can use channels. So guys, this is where we end the video. If you like this video, make sure you click what, the like button and then leave a comment down below. And then don't forget to subscribe because this channel is designed and then dedicated to beginners. Okay, all the videos I'm uploading are for total beginners. So if you're a beginner, you want to master, learn Photoshop, you want to become an expert in Photoshop, consider subscribing to this channel and then click the notification bell so that whenever I drop a new video, you don't miss out. Videos are uploaded constantly. Okay, and then keep practicing. Okay, keep practicing. Take images and maybe your friends and then take their images, remove the background, do a lot with it. Okay, if you won't get images, look in the description box. Okay, there's a link there. You get free images over there. Use them and then practice a lot. This is where I leave you guys. We'll meet again in another video. Have a great day. Bye.